Welcome back to Becoming the Hero, the podcast for self-development and personal development for nerds, geeks, and the like. I'm your host, Justin Lewis. You could consider me your dungeon master. That's a title that I'm very well familiar with, except this is real life, and I don't have as much control, in fact, basically none, over your life as a dungeon master would over D&D characters' lives. Today, I wanted to talk about endorphins, which is something I've been kind of thinking about the last few days. So endorphins are hormones that your body releases for certain effects, right? There are a lot of endorphins that your body releases to make you feel good. And this is important because we all like to feel good. We all like to do things that make us feel good and have that good feeling. I've specifically been thinking about what you do to make yourself feel those endorphins, to feel good, and why. And I've realized in my own life, the most common way that I trigger endorphin release is just looking at my phone. And let me give you an example. I'm at work. I do search engine optimization for my day job. And there are times when I copy and paste something and it takes a little bit to paste the data because there's a lot of data. And I'm sitting there waiting. In those instances, it's very often I've realized that I'll pull out my phone to look at podcast statistics or Google Search Console for my website to see how well I'm doing, or Instagram, or TikTok, or play a little bit of chess. And I've realized that I'm using this as sort of a pacifier to escape the monotony of waiting, of boredom, even for like 30 seconds. And you want to know something? I don't think that's healthy. It's basically any time. You could kind of consider it like this. In D&D, if you get hit and you lose like 2 hit points, it'd be like using a healing potion for 2 hit points, or a greater healing potion for 2 hit points. It's kind of, I view it the same way. These endorphins are very powerful chemical agents within our bodies to really help us regulate the stresses of everyday life. However, if we are constantly avoiding minor stresses and minor pains, you could say, or inconveniences, when the big ones happen, our endorphin response is not sensitive enough. We are not sensitive enough to deal with that in a very mature way. Honestly, that's why I think a lot of my generation and younger, I'm 30, if that gives you context, born in 1993, a lot of my generation and younger, I think that's why we have so much more mental health issues. Because more than any other generation, we were born with cell phones and this ability to basically pacify ourselves at a moment's notice with very little immediate consequence or cost. If something's uncomfortable, we just open up our phone and Bob's your uncle. We feel a little bit better, or at least we think we do. See, I've noticed this trend where if you don't pull up your phone and the emotions stay, you don't feel better, right? Or even the fact that you have to pull up your phone again in like 20 to 30 minutes at least. Because guess what? It doesn't do anything to solve the underlying problem, right? And maybe there isn't an underlying problem, but I think the underlying problem is the ability to basically press a button, boop, and have a shot of endorphin. To me, this is akin to a drug. There was a famous study done a long time ago. I don't remember it. Also, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't reference it. But basically, they took rats and they fed them some sort of water that was laced with either a very addictive drug or sugar or something, right? And they allowed the rats to have a button that would release it. And they found that even amidst like being on top of a floor that would shock them, the rats would continue to release the button that made them feel good, even to the point of being electrocuted to death. And I think we're along the same lines. We have at our disposal these phones that can allow us to basically press the feel good button for like 10, 20 seconds at a time. And we're just freaking mashing that button all day. And guess what? When something truly difficult comes around, we have no tools to deal with it because we haven't developed the inner resilience. Constitution. Constitution is one of the most important ability scores in Dungeons and Dragons because it determines your health. I am starting up a live play show with some friends, and you'll probably hear about that in time, but my character is an artificer, but because we are a 3-person team, I decided to try and be the tank. So I have a very high armor class, 19 right now, we're level 3, just starting out. But my constitution is kind of mediocre. I think I have a +1 or a +2 modifier. What this means is that the ranger in our party has higher health than I do, even though I have more armor. Now, the armor should kind of negate any drawbacks I have with constitution and so forth, but all this is to say, if I do get hit in this game, I don't have many hit points to keep myself standing. In real life, if you are constantly button mashing on your phone to make yourself feel good and get that shot of endorphins in your head, when something difficult happens, for example, in the last month and a half, my wife lost her Nana and her grandma, both of whom she loved very much. So her mother's mother passed away and her father's mother passed away within a span of 3 weeks. And in a couple weeks, we're going to be going to the funeral. That is hard. That's a hard thing. Waiting for something to load on your computer at work, not a hard thing. So I'm going to leave you with the challenge today. You have this amazing machine in your brain. And with certain actions in real life, you can press a button essentially and make good feelings come. Now, I will say, you can also get those same feelings by going to the gym and working out, or really working out anywhere. You can also have those same feelings by connecting with someone you care about. You can also have those same feelings by doing something really hard and looking back and being proud of what you did. So, the challenge is this. Today, as you go about whatever you're doing, right now you're probably driving to work, maybe you're at the gym, doing dishes, eating a sandwich, or on the toilet. I hope not, that'd be weird. But throughout today, think about your endorphins and the buttons you're pressing to receive them. And try and minimize the unnecessary button pushing to receive those endorphins to make yourself more resilient. Work on building up your constitution abilities. I've been Justin Lewis. I hope your adventures are always filled with loot. Have a good day, and may all your 20s be critical.